Alright, so welcome in. My name is Megan. I am the CEO and founder of Valkyrie Fitness and Nutrition. Today, what I'm going to be diving into is exactly what I would do if I was over 200 pounds trying to get down to 160 as someone working a 60-hour shift work week. And I am about, let's say, and I'm 5'5". I know that sounds pretty weird, but like the reason I say 5'5" is because 160 to some women, like if you're above like that 5'8" mark, that's really light. So, first and foremost, why did I pick this number? Because what I commonly see, like anywhere, most women anywhere from the like 5'3" range to 5'7" range. That's the typical goal weight that I kind of see. Not everyone's the same, right? Everyone holds weight differently, all that fun stuff. But this is like the generic, so like don't take offense to anything if you do. Also, too, like this is exactly what I would do if this is what I weighed. If you guys want stats on me, I am currently 5'5". I'm not getting any taller. I weigh around 140 to 145, so it fluctuates. We all fluctuate, so don't get crazy with your numbers. Yeah, so I'm 5'5", 140, 145 pounds. So that's where I currently sit. Most women I talk to want to be at 160. That's like their goal weight. It's been seeming like that has been the goal weight for most women across the board over the years. So that's why I'm going to use this as an example. If you're trying to get down more, this all will work. I'm not here to say like this is the golden number that you have to get down to. These are the exact steps I would take if I was over 200. Let's say I'm like 225, I want to get down to 160. I'm 210, I want to get down to 160. Whatever the number is, don't make it too serious. But like again, let's dive in. So first and foremost, the biggest thing you have to do is, my first thing would be like, I would have to shift my mindset. My mindset would be the first thing I have to work on. Because here's what I've learned over the years, not just from like losing weight in my own journey, right? I put on 30 pounds, needed to get it off, dropped the weight. I've obviously put weight on over the years, but it's been muscle, right? And that's another thing too. Like, don't think that your goal body might not be the goal weight that you assume it's going to be, okay? So your mindset has to be the first thing that changes. And what I mean by that is you have to sit down with yourself and you have to say, self, am I ready to start making changes that are going to make me uncomfortable, that are going to be repetitive, that are going to make me, make me a little, I already said uncomfortable, make me second guess, like, do I really want this? Stuff like that. Because here's the thing. I tell people it is really easy to stay exactly where you are because you become so comfortable on what that looks like, right? You wake up every day, you do the same routine, you get really busy, you scroll on your phone, you eat the same food, you order out on Wednesdays and Fridays or whatever it is. You have to break the cycle of the version that you are currently in order to get to the person you want to end up being. And over the years, I've had to read a lot of mindset books because for me, it was all business related, right? Like I had to think of that too. Like I did my weight loss journey. Now I have to learn how to do business stuff. So my mindset had to change, and it had to change in a way that was sustainable for me and something that I could achieve. So the first thing you need to do is look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I happy? Am I really, really uncomfortable where I am? And am I willing to start making changes? Am I willing to take, things that I would normally do and push myself away from that? Am I going to tell people no? Am I going to start taking action as if I was someone that weighs, let's say, 160 pounds? Because that's how you become the version that you want to be. Is you have to envision yourself as that weight, as the person who's healthy, as the person who's fit. If you don't do that, it's really easy to stay exactly where you are. So your mindset would be, the first thing I would ask myself is like, am I ready to start making changes? What changes am I willing to make? Am I going to start walking more? Am I going to make better food choices? Am I going to stop eating the shit in the break room? Am I going to stop snacking mindlessly just because I'm bored and I'm not hungry? Am I going to stop eating or drinking my calories? Things like that. Like, I have to decide like what small changes that I'm going to make first. From there, right? And from there, like, then it kind of shifts. Like, am I seeing weight loss? Like, things like that. So, first and foremost, your mindset needs to be the first thing that changes. I can't do that for anyone. And if you're unfamiliar, right, like, I help women first responders, like military, healthcare, law enforcement. My team and I, we can't do that for you. That mindset, that has to be 100% on you. Because here's the thing, people who don't have mindset shifts point fingers at everyone else on why they're not getting results, when in reality, the fingers are actually way more pointing right back at you. And I've seen it time and time and time and time again. Oh, it's my husband's fault. It's my kid's fault. It's my coworker's fault. It's everyone else's fault but mine, right? Get out of that mindset, because if that's what you're thinking, my kids don't eat their food, so I have to eat it. No, you can literally put it inside of the refrigerator and make them eat it later. Like, stop pretending like everything is so against you. Like, that's where that mindset shift has to happen. You have to come up and say to yourself, I'm the one that is doing X, Y, and Z. No one is holding a gun to your head making you shove food down your throat. No one is telling you that you're not allowed to work out. Or no one is saying that you have to, keep consistently putting other people first, and not taking 10 to 20 minutes out of your day just to get some sort of activity in. Like, I always tell people, whenever I hear when people say there's no time, it's just time management issues, right? And that's my second one. So, time management. Gosh. Is that even spelled right? Sure. Time management skills. So, if your time management skills are absolute garbage, that's exactly how your day is going to go. I joke with my wife, I put everything on my calendar, which I have to remember to do something, because if I don't put it in my calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So it's not so much, hey, I don't have time for it, is like, how do I place it into my day? Megan, I work 60-hour weeks. Yeah, so do I. Like, you have to make it work for you. Like, you has to be a non-negotiable. Things have to be plugged in. I just bought myself a set of dumbbells so I can work out outside in the RV in the 90-degree heat. Time management is not an issue for me. It's like, how did I do it? Like, I bought the 15-pound dumbbells from Amazon. They were like, I spent $30 on two. Like, that's dirt cheap. It's $1 a pound. So it's all about making the decisions, the choices. Like, I don't always get to make it to the gym. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have stuff here. I have a jump rope and I have a set of dumbbells. Probably get like some sort of mat so I don't like scratch my back up on the concrete. And I might even get a weighted vest just so I have it and I can do stuff around here. There's a jungle gym. Like, the thing is, it's making stuff work. Like, I hear parents all the time, well, my kids have sports after school. Are you just sitting in the bleachers? Like, why are you doing something while you're there? Walk around. Bring a set of dumbbells with you. Get a workout in the parking lot. There are so many things I can think of that, like, would help me progress rather than, like, make myself feel, just like I can't do anything. So time management is the biggest issue I see across the board in a lot of people. A lot of people. I even have people who only work 36 hours a week and they tell me they don't have time. Like, 36 hours? Dude, I'm doing that in, like, it feels like 2 days. So that to me just means you have awful time management skills. And that's another thing that you have to get under control, is what can I do to manage my time better? Set schedules, set non-negotiables, use a whiteboard, get a calendar, put sticky notes on your car. Like, there's a million ways to remind yourself, to set timers, especially when it comes to eating. And that's my next thing, is eating. I hear all the time, I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to log my food. I'm making these voices because that's like how I hear people sometimes. I don't have time to eat. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. Just ordering out so much easier. Guys, like, that shit is so expensive. Like, if you want to keep ordering out, I've ordered DoorDash for like one or two things. It cost me like $40. Like, there is no way in hell that ordering out is cheaper than cooking on your own or just ordering like pre-made meals. So here's the thing. With your time management is garbage, you can't figure out eating, order a meal subscription that's already pre-made. Oh, the meals taste the same all the time. Switch them. There's a million different kinds. Pick different ones, rotate out, live your life. It's not that hard. Local places do stuff too. Like, you can also buy stuff from the grocery store that's already pre-made. So that's another issue that I hear constantly when it comes to things like that. So mindset, time management, eating out is another thing. And what I would do, right? So let's say I'm pushing like over 200. I'm like, dude, I got to do something. Like, my back hurts, my knees hurt, I'm out of breath going upstairs. I don't know, like, let's say I'm in law enforcement. I don't know if I could chase after anyone because I'm only 5'5", you know what I mean? So now I'm 200 pounds. Can I scale a fence? Am I going to be mobile enough? Can I get to my gear? Like, things like that is what I'm thinking. So what am I going to start doing with food? I'm going to start being more mindful, right? I'm going to start tracking my food. If I hear people tell me that, like, you have to track, I don't have time to track is the biggest lie I have ever heard in all of, I don't know, everything on the face of this planet. Everyone has time to track food because everyone has found me on social media, which means you were scrolling at some point and I hear this all the time. Oh, I kept seeing like you pop up my Instagram. Okay, how many hours per day? I want you to look on your phone. If you're watching this on your phone or your laptop, I want you to take a hot second. Go onto your phone. If you have an iPhone, it tells you your screen time. Let me see if I can find it. So I literally typed in the thing screen time. I'm going to click on it. And it tells me my daily average. And it's really fucking high. So I know if mine's high, because I have to be on social media for work, I know yours is high. Because I used to work these jobs. My wife is a nurse. Like, I've worked with firefighters, I've worked with EMS. I know what your guys' schedule looks like. You need to understand that tracking, I can track my entire day under 5 minutes. It doesn't take that long. And they give you the option to buy, like, well, nowadays you have to buy the premium for MyFitnessPal, but you can scan the barcodes, which takes even less time. And when you start creating your meals, everything adds up. And then I have all my meals saved. It takes me like literally 3 minutes to plan my whole day. So you need to take time to track your food. And the reason I say that is because most people have absolutely no idea what a serving size is. Right? If I asked you guys like how many calories in a banana, you'd be like, I have no idea. It's 105, like somewhere around there. 27 grams of carbs. Why do I know this stuff? Because I've been doing this so long that I can literally see foods and I know what they are. What does that teach me? That teaches me how to not track for the whole rest of my life because it's already up here. Just like anything. I always tell people, and this is another thing too, willing to learn. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. And the worst part is the older women get, or just anyone in general, the less likely they want to learn. And that's that old saying, old dogs can't learn new tricks or whatever. I see it all the time where people will bitch and complain about having to do things that are difficult because they just don't want to learn. And that's the biggest thing too. I've come to the conclusion the older I get, the more I love to learn because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me like learning something new. I've had to learn a million different things over this past year, and it's made me that much better person for it. So you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to understand that serving sizes that you're probably taking are probably too small at some point and then too big at other points. So you're probably under eating majority of the time. So that's what I see with a lot of women who come in. They're over 200, trying to get down to 160. They're under eating, have huge meals, go back to under eating. Your body has no consistency. So you need to start building that consistency. So what would I do? I would track my food so I can learn my habits. And that's exactly what I had to do with myself. I had to sit down with myself. I had to say, self, what are you doing? What's going on here? Why are we gaining so much weight? So I had to learn my habits, right? What was I eating at work? What was I snacking? Was I grabbing stuff in the break room? Was I eating what the guys were eating too often? Was I going out drinking too much? Yes. So I had to learn my habits and I had to learn how to cut back. So that's exactly what you need to do. And unfortunately, like the first time I did this stuff, I was like following a very, very restrictive meal guide, which worked, but it was like rice cakes, like boiled chicken, rice, broccoli, salads, I was eating, I'm not even kidding, I was eating 1,200 calories. Don't recommend that. It worked, obviously, for a short time, but I felt like I had nothing, no muscle. I felt terrible. So, let's see. So we talked about mindset, we talked about time management, talked about eating, what we have to do, how to track, how long it actually takes. It doesn't take that long. Your willingness to learn, stepping outside your habits, things like that. So another thing I would do, I would tell myself my non-negotiables were 3 times a week workouts, right? I'm working 60 hours a week, so I have to be realistic with myself. I need to figure out how that's looking. And I've done the 60-hour work weeks, guys. Like, I'm not unfamiliar with this stuff. I worked nights. I would put in so much overtime. My wife was texting me and she was like, "Can you please stop taking overtime?" And I was like, "Why?" And you guys are probably in the same boat. Like, you're taking overtime, you're getting mandatory overtime. Like, it's bizarre. But at the same time, I was getting my workouts in. So I would drink my pre-workout on my way after my shift, after I was working days, and I would get my workout in. I would go to the gym. I would spend like 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be that long, right? So I would say like 30 to 45 minutes. How do we make things faster? I would add in supersets. I would do cardio. I don't know if anyone knows who Jim Stepani is, but he calls it cardio acceleration, where in between your lifting, you would do a cardio movement, jumping jacks, push-ups, kettlebell swings, mountain climbers, things like that, like in between your sets. Like you could do pretend jump rope, things like that to keep your heart rate up, but simultaneously lifting at the same time, and shortening your breaks in between. So things like that. You can crunch workouts down. I do it all the time, guys. I literally get 45 minutes, 30-minute workouts in most of the time. So things like that. My next thing is I would pick something that I probably need to improve on, whether it's sleep, getting off my phone earlier, and adding in a habit that's going to be beneficial for me outside of just my fitness journey. So whether it's meditation, journaling, let's see, reading, things like that. I still do all this stuff. I actually do all of it, because, again, when I got out of the first responder space, I realized that, one, it's very difficult in those job categories. Obviously, women, we know, like, it's very male driven, so like very like, don't be emotional, don't do this, like meditation's stupid, journaling's dumb. But like now we're starting to see like all of the negative effects of it and the detrimental costs. It's coming into departments, mental health, all that stuff. So you need to work on your mental health too. All right, so I would pick something. You could journal for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything serious. You can do it in your vehicle before you get to work. You could do it like before you step inside the house, like before you get home and deal with the chaos of kids or whatever, and a dog, and like your significant other being like, "Hey, what's for dinner?" Because again, like this is the most important part, and people get really frustrated with themselves mostly because one, you guys are burnt out, but two, you don't take time for yourself also. So your mental health is very, very important. A lot of you guys deal with a lot of traumatic events throughout the course of your shifts, and that's also really a big impact on your weight, right? Why? You have to ask yourself, why am I gaining weight? Like, ask it, what is the cause? Am I doing it because I'm stress eating? Am I not eating enough because I'm stressed? Am I using it as an outlet for my emotions? Like, you have to take time for your mental health, and you have to communicate. So the next thing I would do, again, I'm over 200 pounds, trying to get down to 160. I would communicate to my family. Hey, family, here's the thing. Because I have a lot of women who don't tell anyone they're getting on calls with me. I think it's pretty weird. Hey, family, listen, I need to do something. My health, I don't feel good. My body hurts. Carrying a lot of weight. I'm also carrying a lot of stress, and I need to do something. So I'm going to start making some changes. Listen, I'm not requiring you to follow in my footsteps at all. I think it would be beneficial for the whole family, especially if you have kids. But I think it's time that we start making healthier choices. We stop maybe eating out so much, and we take more time to prioritize ourselves. And you need to communicate that, because if you don't communicate, your fitness journey is going to be even harder because you're trying to do it alone. If you have your family in the loop and they're made aware, Yes, it might take them a little bit longer to catch up because I have, again, worked with a lot of people, worked with women who, don't have a very supportive spouse. And what happens is it makes it difficult. So communicate to your family and find support, right? That's another big thing. Find a friend, a coworker, things like that that's going to help you or keep you accountable. If you can't find anyone, you have to hire someone. I hate to say it, but like people don't want to help other people unless there's something they're getting out of it. Unless someone that you know is also on their fitness journey. And again, guys, I'm very upfront with things. That's why coaches exist, because we know that it's really hard for other people to, find that support and also the direction too. Like that's really the biggest thing is like actually having someone that's going to lay out what to do, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, calling people out. I have to call people out all the time. All the time. People love making excuses. People, like I kind of talked about, people love pointing fingers. This person's, causing me to gain weight. This job is making me gain weight. I don't know. I'm just, maybe it's my hormones. Everyone loves the hormone thing right now. And yes, it does have an effect, don't get me wrong. But like a lot of times too, guys, we have to start making better choices on our nutrition and activity side first. And then a lot of times that fixes most of it. Because I've had so many women think that was a main issue, and it wasn't. So like communication, learning your habits, being able to track, like here's the thing too, like there are workout programs, structure works really well, and then there's some where it just follows a very generic plan and everyone gets the same thing. So it's depending on your goals too, right? I want to drop my goal right now, right? We're just focused on weight loss. So for me, how I'd probably structure my day, right? I'm getting activity 3 times a week. So it would be like a push, pull, leg, or depending on my weeks, it could be 3 full body, or upper, lower. So it just depends on what route feels the best. We've done a little bit of everything with people, so it just varies. Also, like injuries, things like that come into play. But that would be my biggest thing, would be this kind of structure. So that's another thing I would do. How am I going to get down? Another thing I would do is, along with tracking my food, I would track my progress. So I wouldn't be too hung up on the scale for at least the first month because I'm trying to build healthy habits, right? I'm working on my mindset, my time management, I'm trying to eat better. So I would be patient with myself because that's another thing a lot of people are not. They are not patient. They see, I always tell people the weight comes off quickly. It's the hardest part is getting it off, right? And because all of these things have to align. So again, tracking my progress. So I would do pictures and measurements. So that could be like my waist, my arms, things like that. At the same time, pictures are worth 1,000 words. So I would always do pictures. Pictures I would do either once or twice, once a week or twice a month, one or the other. We have clients do pictures every 2 weeks, measurements once a month. So it doesn't have to be all the time. Another thing I would never, ever, ever do, what I would never do is step on the scale every day. See, I'm blowing my clients up because we're talking about nutrition tomorrow. So they're probably commenting, I need help. So the nutrition thing, again, biggest part of this. If I was doing anything, this would be priority, and this would be my priority. And mindset, obviously. Because the reason why, like I mentioned in the beginning, is if this isn't aligned with your goals, your why is so important. I have clients write out their why the moment they step in. So let me pull this up really fast. This is pretty funny. This is Ashton. I actually just posted about her the other day. So Ashton, her fitness journey started a little bit before before she even came to me, she started on her mindset. And that's why I said that was very important. She said, mentally, I just wasn't ready to start making changes. I had to work on that first. And then that's when she actually stepped into the program, is because she was ready to start seeing improvements. So as you can see, why? Why do you really want to do this? Why is this important to you? So she keep up with her kids, teach them the importance of self-health so I can be the best for my job and mostly my self-confidence. So you have to ask yourself, what is your why? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to see results? Do you want to feel hot and sexy like when summer hits? Do you want to feel sexy in the bedroom? Do you want to look good naked? Do you want to feel confident in uniform? Do you want to show up to the job and feel really good and strong? And whatever it might be, your mindset has to be the the leading factor of your goals. So again, this is basically exactly what I would do to start. I would take my time. The next question probably that most of you have, how long would that take me? All right, so let's say that's like 40 pounds, right? 40 pounds. So it varies on consistency. Reason I say that is because everyone loses weight, like I kind of mentioned, differently based on how consistent they are with their nutrition and their activity levels and, work, sleep, think hormonal, your periods, things like that. I feel like shit on my period right now. So, again, when you go into weight loss, how you can kind of gauge how much you're going to lose anywhere from half a pound to a pound and a half a week. Have I seen more? Yes. I've seen people lose up to 5 pounds in a week. I've seen people lose up to 2 pounds in a week. I've seen people lose, yeah, I'd say probably the most is like close to like 6 or 7. But you also have to remember too, a lot of it is going to be, is like, it's, they say water weight, right? Because a lot of you guys are holding on to inflammation. That I was showing pictures on my story today of, in just 3 weeks, the difference in bloating on women, right? Because we're coming into this and they're actually starting to pay more attention to what they're doing. They're also getting active again. They're sleeping better. A lot of it they lose in the first week or two is a lot of inflammation and water weight. So you'll see them, like, they come in very bloated and immediately it looks like their stomach deflated a little bit. And that's the biggest thing too, is like it's a step in the right direction because we know, like, what we're doing is working. But you're also going to realize, like, your first month usually is water weight. After that, that's when we start really seeing the magic happen, right? It's water weight, inflammation, things like that. So that's when everything else starts to come into play. So it can vary on, where you're starting out over that 200-pound mark, right? So if I was just at 200, if I was trying to lose 40 pounds, I would probably gauge and say at minimum, like that 4 to 5, I would say 4 to 6 months, actually. So anywhere around that range. That's the most realistic based off, like, common different factors and like who we've seen come in the program. Job, how much are they getting, putting on overtime? Are they on call? Are they losing sleep? Like all that stuff also comes into effect as well. Or like how much do they have to lose to start? So if I was like 200, I want to get down to 160. I would probably say, based on that, anywhere between 4 to 6 months. So give yourself around that. If you're like, let's say you're up around like 220 or more, and you would get down to 160, I would say 6 to 8, like closer to like the 250 range. 160, I would probably get closer to like a year, somewhere around that, like 8 months to a year. Anything past the 250 range, well over a year to lose that, like get down to like that 160 mark. So like those are rough estimates. Like I've had people lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, not doing anything crazy. So again, varies person to person, like how closely you follow like your direction or plan or something that you set for yourself is going to dictate how quickly you drop that weight. So again, those are like, again, was like a rough kind of go around. Results may vary from person to person, obviously. But if you're someone that's like actually like really ready to get the weight off, you just need direction. That's really it. And that's why we have so many people in there like crushing, because we have people, I mean, honestly, that's what it really comes down to, is like people just mostly need direction. They need simplification. We try to meet people where they're at. Everyone's really different, and I always tell people, it's sometimes it takes us a minute to like gauge like what we have to change and adjust for you as well, because some people will come in gung ho and then realize that's too much, right? And I have some people that they start out really slow and then they progress faster because they knew who they are when they come in, right? We only know you very. That's why I do consultations, because it helps me gauge things. I also have a team member, Janine, who does consultations with me. She does it like on her own calendar, but we have to gauge people. Like, we have like an hour to kind of figure out like who you are, what you need, what's going to be the best fit, what kind of strategy we might think will work, and then pair you up with one of my coaches on my team who's going to kind of take the lead on things. So also, if that interests you, go ahead. There's going to be a link at the bottom where you can book a call. But hopefully this has been valuable to you. Like I said, the goal has to start here. Everything has to start here. You have to be willing to make those changes. You have to be willing to set the path for yourself, because no one is going to do it for you. And I say that multiple times because a lot of times too, people come in a coaching program and think that the whole purpose of it is for us to do all the work for you. We can't do that. We can give you coaches are like a GPS, right? We can guide you exactly where you need to go. We can make tweaks, we can make changes, we can make adjustments. We can reroute you. We can't drive the car for you. So if that's what you're looking for, like, coaching isn't gonna drive the car for you. Things that are driving the car for people right now are GLP-1s, right? They're losing the weight because they're forcing people to not eat. That's quote unquote driving the car. It's very kind of like a blindfolded car. Some of them are. Some of them are working great for people. So be very mindful if that's your end result with that. But I want you to understand the difference, okay? And other quick fix diets like Optavia, for instance, or other things that like send the food directly to you and you can only eat that food, those things are driving the car for you. But what's the problem with that is you need that program to chauffeur you forever, right? Because that's keeping the weight off. You need to become the driver. You need to take control of the vehicle, which is your body. You need to be willing to learn, to understand yourself, to change your mindset. No one's going to do that for you. You have to do that. So take that away. Hopefully this has been, again, valuable for you. If you are ready to have someone be the GPS for you, again, I have women on my team, all prior, first responders, EMT, fire, law enforcement. I got the military side, and healthcare. So again, we have an idea on the jobs that you deal with. We've been there. We've done that. We've done the night shifts, all that fun stuff, so we know exactly what to do. You just have to be willing to learn, and we'll show you the exact formulas on how to keep the weight off, and also how to be your own coach, which is the end result. All right, we want you guys to be able to do that. So again, you can book a call, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.